everyone, Sean Ruggiero, President and Founder of Safe Money Smart. I've been asked by Social Insurance Leads to continue the training on the Estate Planning Lead. It's a brand new lead offered by socialinsuranceleads.com. So we're going to talk about another sales opportunity. This will be our third one. And this is a pretty straightforward sales opportunity, what I call leaving a legacy. So just rewinding a little bit, what we've done is we've gone through in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, this final wishes guide. We've gathered all the final wishes for the client. We understand more about them, their age, how their loved ones, their sons, daughters, whoever it might be, plus their inventory of assets. So checking accounts they might have, retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, life insurance they have, and then real estate. So some of the early ones I talked about, solving for the income gap. That's something that we can do through an annuity or through life insurance. Some of the other ones, such as offsetting the cost or protecting the executor or administrator, that's another sales opportunity that we have a training video on. That sometimes is for someone who doesn't have quite as much. Because it's going to be that bell curve. There's going to be some people that have very little, some people that have a whole bunch, and then the bulk of them be in between. So leaving a legacy, that can be for anyone, really. But it can also be for those that have very little but want to leave a legacy. So if we role play this again, I'm sitting here talking with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I've just completed the final wishes guide. I have handed to them and explained that the will kit will be sent also, and they can complete that at their leisure. And I'm going to say something like this. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, thank you. We've completed the final wishes guide. I'm going to email you a digital copy. I will also include the people that you had listed who you want to have copies. It looks like you have two sons and a daughter named Susan. In reviewing this here, something that pops out right away as a fairly major concern is I see how you speak about Susan, about your kids, your sons, your daughter, and about the grandkids. I see the pictures on the wall. But we don't have any retirement accounts, okay? So we don't have anything that naturally, if not spent, would go to them upon death. And it seems that you're also pretty avid members at your church, because when we finished out your place of worship, when you fill this out, and agents, just as a quick reminder, it's right here on page 2 for their final arrangements and memorial service. We're getting a really good idea of what their involvement is at the church. Okay? I'm just giving you that as an idea. Churches, charities, children. The issue I see, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is you have nothing here about leaving any sort of legacy. So, for many people, they want to leave something behind, whether it's $10,000 a piece to pay for grandchildren's college, maybe just a lump sum that would go to their children, or in some cases sending a gift upon death to your church. I know you said you were members at YBC denomination church down the street. So what I'd like to do as a licensed agent is find some things that could create a very affordable monthly donation, let's call it that, that will then turn into a tax-free benefit, free of probate when you do die, okay? And we're going to do that through something called level whole life insurance, all right? The premium never goes up, the policy never expires until you do. So let's find something that's affordable and then decide who you want to give that gift to. So you can see right there what I've done is I've simply talked about leaving a legacy in a very basic but emotional and understandable way. Now, there are two ways that you can leave a legacy. Let me give you a little sales hint here. We can do it through a retirement asset, like an IRA or 401k, and we can do it through an annuity, or we can do it through life insurance. One suggestion might be if they have retirement assets. Let's say they have an IRA for $1 million, just a made-up number. Let's say it's $100,000. Either way, it doesn't matter that much. We can take a portion of that and do something in financial planning that is actually very common and very effective. We can do a conversion. So if we have this retirement asset, but we don't want the annuity to be a tax burden, because with annuities, it's tax deferred. Some people call it a tax time bomb. I happen to be a huge fan of annuities, especially FIAs. But truth be told, when it comes to taxation, passing on a legacy, they're not ideal. Life insurance is better because it's tax-free. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, would you like this to be a benefit or legacy that is not taxed or is taxed? It's up to you. And they're obviously going to say taxed. So we can do a conversion here. If we took $100,000, and this is some calculations to put together, something I've done personally numerous times. But if I take $100,000 and I put it into a SPIA or an income annuity for Mr. Smith, who let's say is 65 years old, it's going to pay out about $6,500 every year. He can take that $6,500 and talk about a force multiplier. He can take that $6,500, and I ran a GUL with an A-rated carrier using standard, not preferred, not premier. I used a standard health rating, okay? And it was $255,000. And one of the carriers I got as high as $274,000. So Mr. Smith, how would you like to take $100,000 of what would be a tax benefit and convert it into over $250,000 of a tax-free death benefit that you can split amongst the 3 kids and your church? How does that sound? And Mr. Smith, if you die too early, we can make Mrs. Smith the primary beneficiary, with the contingent beneficiaries being the children and the church. Or we could do it the opposite way, right? We could put the policy on her, and if she dies before Mr. Smith, he can get the money. But knowing that he's probably going to die first, then she dies second, the contingent beneficiaries would be the ones getting the money. And now you're taking that tax-free death benefit, free of probate, immediately to your beneficiaries, whomever they might be. So that's how we're going to take an opportunity, and maybe, maybe it's something where they don't have much money. Maybe we're writing a $10,000 final expense or whole life policy. Either way, it's the idea of the one thing I see here is you have a lot of love for your children, for your grandchildren, the way you speak about them when we fill this guide out. I noticed that you're very involved in your church, but you have no plans, no designations for anything to be sent to them. See, we've got to make it sound assumptively normal, because it is. They've just never sat down and looked at it that way. See, a lot of times with life insurance annuities, they feel that they're being sold something. One of the great things about the estate planning lead is you're not selling them something, you're offering them solutions. Because as you go through this final wishes guide, you are essentially creating an estate plan. You're going to send it out to their loved ones. You're going to make them feel good that everything is in order. Now when you bring up the question, I don't see anything you have about leaving a legacy. Nothing to your church, nothing to your children, nothing to your grandchildren. See, I can act like that's kind of shocking because, frankly, it doesn't seem to be in line with their personalities. But now I'm not selling them something. Now I'm giving them something, an opportunity to complete this estate plan and include passing on a benefit, whether it's $5,000 a piece, $50,000 a piece, it doesn't matter, to their loved ones, whether it's taxed in an annuity form or tax-free through life insurance and converted that way. So hopefully that helps. That's our sales opportunity on leaving a legacy. Thank you.